I definitely needed to pull his book out today to remind me of things, okay? One of the things it says, the greatest secret on earth, some get off at the first stop. They find themselves in desolate country. They settle down in secret despair. Others go on for another station or two, then take their leave of the train. Their location is somewhat better, but still they settle down with a vague uneasiness. A few others, the endearing ones, keep going. Somewhere along the early part of the journey, they made a fascinating discovery. Though the trip certainly has its challenges, the further they go, the easier it becomes. Patience and persistence present sure rewards, so they eagerly press on. As they do so, they reach the peaks of happy and unworried living. With enormous relief, they find that the mountaintop was not just something announced in a travel guide. It is real. It is there. It is theirs. So when I read The Mystic Path for Cosmic Power, it puts things into perspective for me. I tell you guys all the time about study, right? And this is constantly what I tend to do because sometimes I tend to even forget things, right? And what you have to understand is instead of you settling for whatever it is that you feel is going to make you happy, and that's a lot of times why we tend to settle, because we like, well, if I get into this relationship, it's going to make me happy, and oftentimes, in most cases, is actually the opposite, because now that you have settled, it's like you want to make this person into what you feel as though they ought to be, because you was impatient and you felt like it may take a long time. Isn't it so funny how we have this thing, right, that, oh, things need to turn out the way that I can see it. But in all actuality, and I did a video on this about detachment not too long ago, but in all actuality, is the thing that, the way you may see it is not probably the best, right? Because our brains, it cannot fathom, you know, everything. Like, oh, how it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, who's gonna make it happen. It can't, that's not our brain job. And I learned that from Bashar. The other day I was, listening to him. And he said people tend to be overwhelmed because, you know, they're not listening to their higher selves, right? Which is you, right? But your higher self is the part of you that is sitting, so to speak, on the mountaintop. It's like the intuition that's constantly guiding you and telling you which way to turn, which way to go. And it's just so fascinating that we think a lot of times like, oh, well, this is the best thing. And it's like source have something so much bigger than that, so much better than that. But because you are impatient, and I'm speaking to myself too, because you are impatient, it's like you just settle, almost like a settlement at a court.